Good morning, everyone. So, in this session, now we are going to study about the Microsoft Azure, that is a cloud computing. So, explore the Microsoft Azure cloud concept. So, so now in this, we are going to study the what is cloud computing. So, what is the benefits of the cloud computing, and what are the cloud modules? And public, what is the public cloud and private cloud and the hybrid cloud, and what are the cloud services? So not only that, so why do we need cloud? It is very very important thing. So a number of people don't know. So what is the purpose of cloud computing? So basically what is the cloud? We don't know. So and it is very very important question. So actually what is a cloud? So it is a basic question and a very very important question. What is cloud? So what is the meaning of the cloud? And what is meant by public cloud or the private cloud or the hybrid cloud? So how the data is to be protected? So how the organizations are able to set up the private cloud, and is there any security provide our data? So how they make use of the public cloud infrastructures like Azure and the AWS. So once you decide cloud module, the very very important discussion which we make it. So what is infrastructure as a service, and what is a platform as a service, and what is software as a service? And I believe a huge amount of misunderstanding terms among the people. So in the way what they understand. So we are going to properly have a discussion around all. So and not only that, so we will study the cloud services. So what and all the major services of in a cloud computing? So there is a first one we take is as a infrastructure as a service, and platform as a service, and software as a service. These are the major parts we will study in the cloud services. And not only that, so now we will study about the what is cloud computing. So basic question. There is a very very important question. So what is cloud computing? So computing is the power of computer that implies the processor and the RAM or the memory. So these are the major computing factors. A computer provide computing where my applications are going to run, but definitely if I am talking about the now application, execution is not efficient. Application have to manage data, they have to write the file and read the file, write database and read from the database. And that we talk about the storage. And when you talk about the storage is another way. It is an important question. So factors, essentials, special in today factor. A huge amount of data is generated from various sources. So probably we capture the data, do something kind of analysis in a simple in simply capturing of data is not sufficient. So if I want to analyze the data and make out what actually it can help me to better returns on my investment. If the people are visiting my website, so think that, so for example, so think that for example, if I have one website, if people are visiting my website and I want to capture where they did visit my website, on which page did they visit my website, either longer, on which course they are more interested. So and probably that gives a proposal to them by a course. So here analysis is very very important. There are many analytical tools in the application development today, and definitely a single computer cannot achieve anything. You surely need a multi computers where going to be connected networking. So today cloud computing providers, the major of which three clouds, that is a majorly three clouds, that is Azure cloud, that is Microsoft, so that is Amazon AWS, and Google, that is a GCP providers. So as computing power, that means a provider's machines on which our application can execute. They provide as a storage where all our data can be saved. We don't have to save our mission, we can store it in cloud. They provide with a lot of analytical tools so that huge of data can analysis easily without reinvesting on hardware. And not only that, many analytical tools, so which otherwise exclusive can't just do expensive, and also the of course they will have a networking facilities. Even if you have an organization across the global, you might be properly a network between these three clouds. So you might be think that across you have a globally you have the connection. So then you can use a cloud. That is the three clouds we discussed before. The major components of the cloud computing. So computing, storage, analysis, and the networking, all the provided by the cloud services provider, and how you actually connect with them. The best way to do this. So now we are talking about the Microsoft Azure. So many people or the many students are getting somewhat trouble to enter into the Azure portal. So we were saying in the here to try this exercise. If you use these steps, you can enter into the probably enter into the Microsoft portal. So then you can start your work on working on the cloud, or if you want to learn in the cloud, you can learn, or if you want to work on some of the basic projects, you can work on that. So you were saying that, so open the browse. Okay, after that enter the your portal. So now I'll show that about the Azure portal is designed. So okay, if you type the Azure portal, so after that it will go to the login portal. After that, when to the login portal, it automatically it takes some few seconds. After that, it goes to the Azure portal. So this is Azure cloud. Yeah, you're saying this. Okay. Now once again. Now, so first you will find out this taking a course online on a learning of platform. So if you want to learn the basic concepts on the Microsoft Azure cloud, there will be an a freely some courses on the Microsoft Azure. It will give. So and if you want to attend the live classes based on the Microsoft Azure, you can work. So not only that, I said before itself, if you want to work on the small projects, or if you want to work on cloud, there will be some support to the cloud projects. So when you enter into the services, isn't right? So um, so Microsoft gives us portal. So we can go to the azure.com, and this is the call it Azure portal. So if you want to work with Azure, you have to buy or a subscription from the Microsoft. Activate your free subscription in a portal and go to the azure.com. You can find here the Azure portal. So this is Azure portal. You can see this Azure portal, and when you go to the after a few time, you can go to the Azure portal. After you will get Azure portal, and directly after if you upgrade, so some of the it will ask the some subscription, or based on the if you want to try with the free subscription based on your conditions, you can move on to here. So you're seeing this. These are all the services which are provided by the Microsoft Azure. So n number of services. If you want to work on the AI research, you can work here. And when you want to, so not only this, these are all the services. We'll talk first. There is a PowerShell. So not only this. So so you know that this is the Microsoft portal. So where you want to interact for the creation of services in Azure portal. So it is not just a portal. So you're seeing this is not just a portal. So if you are an administrator, think that if you are an administrator, if you want to use the PowerShell command, that is a CLI command. If you want to use here, it is showing that. See, it is a PowerShell. If you want to work in this here, and there's a PowerShell. If you want to use, not only that, think that if you are a developer, so if you want to use a REST API, it is also available in REST API here. So not only that, if you want to work on the data factors, so not only that data like analytics, so Azure Databricks are very very important thing. So not only that, if you want to work on the Power BI embedded, you can work here. So not only that log analysis workspace, you can work here. So based on your convenient or the based on your project or based on your conditions to use the cloud, you can use. and there is a multi ways of interaction with the Microsoft services. Everybody begins with the Azure portal. So because it is easy to operate, you can see all the features at a one place. Once if you have known all the features, if you know all the features, what on all the services under what are the features, everything if you know, it is easy to use. At any point you can use. If you are an C developer, think that if you are an C developer, you'll use a C shop. But if you're a Java developer or the Python developer or the PHP or any developers, you'll use convenient tools. So because Azure is a Microsoft, don't treat it supports only to the Microsoft product. Azure has a Windows mission support, but at the same time, but at the same time, it supports all the popular virtual machines like Linux. So has many as a Windows virtual machines. Properly, more number of Linux virtual machines are created in Azure. Azure not only support to the or not only supports to the Java or the PHP or the CSS, etc. Azure is not only treated for the Microsoft, they also support for the open source. Azure is a platform where the applications are developed at any long can develop or the deploy or applications. So many years of applications. So there is a many years of application aside. So you can integrate it to cloud computing even though things are premised every time. So not only that, okay, when you are going to here, say if you want to use, yeah, if you want to work on the AI and the machine learning. So now the present trending of the AI and machine learning, you can work on here and languages based on n number of languages. If you want to deploy your applications or the run of your programs, you can run and analytical tools based on analysis and when many people are working on the Power BI, you can work here. And not only that, compute we have studied before itself. If you want to image templates or the virtual mission scale text or VM application definitions, so n number of things you will get here. And containers app. So not only that, if you are working on Kubernetes or the services and automatic things, you can work here. So not only that, containers. So container instance or the Kubernetes automatic prems. So anything, a number of things you can work and app configurations. Not only that, if you want to work on the database, if you are working on a database or the Excel, you can work here. That is it is showing here. So there is a Azure SQL database hyperscale. And not only that, if you want to work the SQL database or the SQL virtual machines and Postgres SQL and Azure database migration services. So n number of things you can work. If you think that if you are a DevOps engineer, so nowadays a DevOps engineer are also a part of the software, that is IT, information technology. If they want to use the Azure development environment or the Azure DevOps organization, or if they want to enter into the GitHub GitHub or the MATLAB or the application process interface or anything, if they want to work or want to connect with the network connections or if they want to test the applications, so they can use the test labs or many things it provide. And not only that, if you are here generally they have some tools, that is a dashboard or the recent or the resource graphs if you want. A number of things it will provide. Not only that, if you want to work on the education tools, it is provide. And if you are a healthcare systems, if you want to work on the healthcare systems, it will provides. And not only that, when you want to hybrid or the multi cloud, if you are working on the based on different clouds, so that is a thing that it is a very important tool which provides here. So that is Azure or data controls or the Azure networking function. This is also one service, very important service. And not only that, missions Azure. Not only that, when you go to the SQL server, a number of things it provides. And not only that, if you want to work on identities, that is a B2 tendons or the guest usages. So Microsoft Enter ID. These are all different things it will provide. Not only that, integrations. And if you want to work on the IoT Internet of Things, it provide IoT Internet of Things central applications and IoT hub and different services it will provide. A number of services. If you check any search engines, it provides a number of in development something will be and a number of things it will show. And this one also migration, monitoring, and networking, and the way based on the what and all the security it provides, different things. If you need to work on the storage, it will provide some storage, and if you are working on the web applications or the web mobiles, it will provide different things. Not only one thing, it provided many things, many services. You're seeing here, see, many services it is providing. See, identity, internet of things, many things it will provide. And if you are working, if you want to work on the PowerShell, it will provide the PowerShell. Or if you want to change the settings, see, based on if you want to change and which directive you are working, it will show different things it will show. See, many things it is showing. If I want anything, it will show based on the which subscription you are going to be used, and everything it will shows here. See, if you want to, if I need the virtual mission, you can work on. If you need the virtual mission, you can take the virtual mission or the Google platform, that is a IAM, Identity Access Management. So a number of things, that is a IP address, Internet Protocol address, everything it will provide. If you want to think that if I need a virtual mission, okay, see, you can create the virtual mission here. See, you can create. See, what you need it will provide, and this on all the need. If you need the free trial, it will provide what free trial or the subscription resources, everything. If you enter into this, it provides. And this is about the virtual missions, and this will talk about later about the virtual mission. This and all everything we'll study later. See, everything it will show here, and this is about the portal. So if you want to learn the Microsoft Azure portal, and not only that, we have to study some other concepts based on this. Okay. mm, yeah, we studied about the Microsoft portal. So now we will study the key, explore the key components of cloud. So first one, we study the highly availability. It is very important topic we are talking now. So highly availability. So okay, we have to. So these are the key components we have to study in here. Not only that, when you go to the scalability and these all the things, these are the key components. So highly availability. So why we need to study this? Because some of the concepts that exploring the key concepts, very important. The key concepts, or when you are going to enter into the any organizations. So these are all the very important things. Those that is highly available. So that is think that ensuring the systems or the services or the applications remains operational and accessibility with a minimal downtime, even hardware or the software or the network failures. So not only that, take one example. So think that let us have one e-commerce platform that is hosting on the Microsoft Azure that needs handling the high traffic during the peaks events. So think that there was one portal. Take that one portal which is online platform. Take that. Okay. We will take the Amazon. Think that. So there is a lot of traffic. There is a lot of peaks of traffic in weekdays. Think that is a black day sales. Think that there is a black day sale. So at that time, this highly availability, how can I work? There's a key component, and how it is be useful in working in the organization based on the project. How I can use the highly availability. So we have think that there is a one online platform that is Amazon. There is a highly traffic in the peak events. Okay. They kept as a one sale, that is a Black Friday sales. Okay. So the platform is deployed across the multi availability zones with Azure regions. Is in some of the regions. We will study about the regions in the later. So the front end servers like Azure virtual missions and the database and the Azure SKU database are distributed across the zone 1 and zone 2, zone 3. So not only that, and again it goes to the loading balancing. Loading balancing. So an Azure load balancer is set up to the evenly distribute income customer traffic across all the virtual machines. If one virtual machine fails, the traffic is rerouted to healthy instance. And when we talk about the database and the storage, so the platform users, that is the Azure SQL database with the given activate geo republications and enabling the automatic republications on the database on the multi regions. In case of a failure of the platform switches to the secondary database, then we will use a block storages with the GRS. So that GRS is nothing but geo written geo redundant storage, ensuring that data is available even if the primary storage location fails. And when you go to the scalability, that is a scalability is nothing but thing that take one example, that is an online food delivery, that is a Zomato. We'll take for example Zomato. So a food delivery app, that is a food delivery app. Zomato is a food delivery app, isn't right? So experiences handling the high traffic within the freak demanded during the lunch and dinner hours. So when they are going to be focused, there will be much traffic. When in the lunch hours or the dinner hours, there will be much orders and high traffic will be at that time. What and all we are going to be instructions or the some of the precautions we will take. So at that time, so when you take the web front end developer, so hosted on the Azure app service, that is we take the auto scaling ruling or the configurations to increase the number of instance. We can increase the instance, isn't right? So that is a general instant and a compute instant. There are a number of instance. We will study about the later. So we are going to be take that. So auto scaling configuring increases the, so and during the low traffic back down to the save cost. So when it is going to be taken the number of instant, the CPU usage is exceeds 70% for the 5 minutes. It is going to increase the what memory space. Not only that, order processing with Azure functions. So think that how the order going to be placed with the Azure functions. The order is processing logic is implemented as Azure functions. Since Azure functions are the serverless, they automatically scale to the handling the income request, such as the order placed or the payment processing without a manual invest interactions. So not only that, when you go to the not only that, when you go to the scalability, not only that, okay, we'll take the elasticity. We'll take the scalability we have completed. Now we will take the elasticity. Okay. Okay. We'll take the elasticity. We'll take okay. One example we'll take. So for the elasticity, we will take one example. So think that okay, streaming service for a live event. There will be a live event that is streaming on the video. Think that a video streaming on a platform hosted live. That is a sports event, and the traffic surges as during the matches. That is a thing that okay, IPL final match. There will be IPL final match but drops significantly after the event end. So elasticity is critical to handle such a fluctuating workloads. So in that cases, what we are going to be take? What and all the precautions we are going to be take? Think that front end application service. We will take the Azure app service and we'll fix the elasticity setup and configure auto scale rules based on the matrix such as a HTTP request count or the CPU utilization. For example, when the HTTP request exceeds 1,000 per second or the CPU usage across the 75% additionally, app instance are automatically provisioned. After the match, when the traffic drops, instant scale down automatically to the minimum number. What and all the backend streaming will give the Azure Kubernetes service, that is AKS we will call, that is a Azure Kubernetes service, and elasticity setup. The AKS, that is a Azure Kubernetes service, is configured with the horizontal pod autoscaler, that is HPA we will call, that is a horizontal pod autoscaler. During the peak traffic, the number of pods are running the streaming backend increases the automatically to distribute the video streaming efficiently. When the traffic decrease, the pod scale back down and save the resources and the cost. This is about the elasticity. And when you take the global reach, when you take the global reach, so we'll take the one example on this. So what example we'll take on the global reach? An e-commerce company. Think that then there will be an e-commerce company for it's a worldwide and need to provide the fast and reliability and constant user experience for the customers in North America or the Europe or the Asia. Around the world, the company also require compliance with the regional regulations with the GDPR in Europe and the disaster recovery capabilities. So this is the real time example. Implement with the using the Azure. So how we will take this? So think that deploying the resources across the regions. We have the regions many. So we'll study about the now in the when you take the example, before we have taken the example around there is a North America or the Europe or the Asia. Okay, this and all. So your major part implementation with Azure. So deploying the resources across the regions, platform is deployed in the Azure regions close to it key customer base. Think that North America or the East US and West US regions. Asia, that is the Southeast Asia or the Singapore, and the East Asia, Hong Kong. Not only that, global load balancing service will take as a Azure traffic manager and the configuration and a certain or the suitable configuration, the routes, user traffic to the nearest and Azure region based on the geographical optimist or the ensuring the low tendency. This will take the configuration. The content of delivery will take one service, that is Azure Content Delivery Network. And how can we provide the configuration? Catches static assets like a product image or the videos at the edge of the location worldwide, reducing the load time for the users of remote regions. And how can you provide the web application service? We'll take the front Azure front door. And how can I provide the configuration to this? Implement the SSL termination for the secure connection. And this is about the global search, global reach, and customer latency capabilities. So this I will say one real time example. So online multiplayer game platform. Think that there will be online multiplayer game platform in a Play Store. A multiplayer gaming platform need to load tendency interaction for the players across the North America or the USA or the Asia thing. High latency could result in a poor game player experience, such a delay of the actions or the drop connections. So this example. So how can I deploy the game servers across Azure regions? Think that game servers are deployed in the East USA, East US, and West Europe or the Southeast Asia regions. Server players in the North America. or the USA respectively. By playing the servos close to the players around the trip at a time minimized. And when you want to load balance, you can use Azure Door, same as. And when you go to the service, and you can use Azure CND, the statistics assets or anything you can take it that. And agility. This is a very very key concept. Agility. So agility is nothing but quick deploy or the faster test or the deploy and the scale of applications and a resource changing the business needs or the market demand. Azure allows business to adapt rapidly, innovate, and stay ahead of the competition without being constrained with the traditional infrastructure limitations by the information technology. And take that one real time example. Think that retail chain launching an e-commerce field. A retail chain want to be quickly launch an e-commerce platform to meet the growing online shopping demand. They need to set up some scalable, globally available systems in a week rather than the months while accommodating the changes customer needs. So think that that is a real time example if you take. So there is a retail chain launching an e-commerce platform. So I need the fast deployment of the web application. I need the fast. I don't have the time. I need at a time. So I need the fast deployment of the web application. So at that time, I will use the Azure App Service. How can I configure that? So that is Azure App Service. If you will take, how can I do the configuration? The front end e-commerce website is deploying using the Azure App Service. It supports a quick deployment of the pre-built templates, enabling the developers to focus on the customized rather than infrastructure. Auto scaling ensures that the website can handle the sudden traffic surges during the programmational events. Serverless backend for the transaction. What I can take the service. Azure function I can take as a service. How can I do the configuration? So Azure function process uses the transaction that is a payments or the order confirmations without requiring a dedicated server setup. No, not only that, the serverless modules allows the scaling based on the number of incomes orders, so ensuring the high responsive. This and all. And not only that, when you want to streamline development with the CID and the CD. CID, CI and CD is nothing but continuous integration and a continuous deployment. So which service I can take it for this? I can take the Azure DevOps. That is a service I can do. And how can I do the configuration for this? So developer use Azure DevOps to build a CID, that is a continuous integration and a continuous deployment pipeline, and automated tested ensuring that the new features are deployed safely and rapidly. And not only that, when you want to data driven, I need to data driven. So, which service I can take it that? So Azure Type Analytic. How can I configure this? How can I do the configuration for this? The platform collects the customer browsing and purchase data, and I have to analysis to use analytics tools based on this. And not only that, productivity cost consideration. This is a very very important key concept. That is a productivity cost consideration. So for this, I will say one real time example. Take that one e-commerce platform scaling for the seasonal demand. Think that an e-commerce platform experience highly seasonal demand, especially during the events like the Black. Okay, we'll take the Christmas. Okay, especially on the Christmas days. The company wants to protect the cost of accurately and avoid overspending during the peak periods while maintaining the smooth customer service. For this, how can I make using the Azure cloud? Which service I can take now. I can take the two services at now, either this service or that service. Think that I can take the Azure cost management and Azure pricing calculator. Two things I can take now. And how can I do the configuration for this? The platform uses the Azure pricing calculator, estimate the potential cost of running virtual machines or the databases and the storage based on the historical traffic patterns from the previous year sales event. And Azure cost management is used to track the actual usage in a real time and comparing with the predict actions to adjust the necessary. And if I need to cost precautions using the historical data, on which service I can use in the Microsoft Azure cloud, Azure machine learning and Azure Snipe analytics I can use here. And how can I do the configuration for this? Historical sales data is and the server usage matrix and analyzed to predict the future resources needs during the seasonal peaks. And machine learning models are trained on past usage patterns, predict the cost of running specific services during these events. These precautions help the company budget more accurately for resource usage. Not only that, predictive cost management in actions before seasonal sale and during the sales period, after the sales period. These and all the predictive cost management in actions. And disaster, that is very, very important. Disaster recovery. Disaster recovery in cloud computing. That is very, very important thing. So this disaster recovery refers to the strategies and the tools used to ensure the continuity of critical business application of the data in the events of disaster, such as the data centers failure, cybersecurity attack, or the natural disasters. The cloud enables organizations to, to replicate or the storage in a geographical diverse locations. So for this, I will take the one example. Okay, okay. In that online platform, e-commerce field, think that that is anything, any online platform. We'll take the EatSure. So okay, EatSure. It is also online platform. Okay, we'll take the EatSure. The company needs robotic disaster recovery strategy to ensure if a disaster occurs, the platform remains operational with a minimal downtime and data loss. So for this, how can I use Microsoft Cloud? So which service I can take for this? So Azure side recovery, I can take it. It is suitable to that. Azure site recovery, that we call it as a ASR. That is a Azure site recovery. How can I do the configuration to this? The e-commerce platform like a virtual missions and the database are replicated from the East US to the West US. Azure Site Recovery continues the Republic and the data on applications between these two regions, ensuring that if one region experience on the outage, the workload can failure over to the other regions. And backup and recovery. It is very, very important nowadays. That is a backup and recovery. If I lost the any my hardware, how can I? It is very, very tough to recover the backup, or it is destroyed, or anything. It is very tough in hardwares. So when you are using the cloud computing, so it is very easy. So backups and recovery. So which service I can provide here? So that is Azure backup. So how can I do the configuration for this? So the critical data include the customer information, transaction history, the inventory details, and the regular backups. So the Azure block storage. Backup storage as an a That is a GRS. We studied about the before. That is a geo redundance storage, ensuring that the data is in a replicated for the secondary regions in the case of disaster. And not only that, when you go to the security and security in the cloud computing, it is very very important in a nowadays. That is the cloud computing involves in the protecting the applications or the data and the infrastructure in the cloud environment. And not only that, when you take this based on the security, when you take the one real time example or the scenario of real time example, think that the financial services application securing the customer data. A financial service company uses an application to handle the sensitive customer data, including the accounting details, the transaction history, and the personal information. The company needs to implement the robotics security and controls the protect of this data and ensure the complications with the industry regulation. So this is real time example. So in the Azure cloud, what service I can take first of all this. This is very very important. Why this? When you talk about the security, it is a lot of information based on the security. So how can I? What can I take in this here? So now I can take it this. So that is a IMA. I can take the IMA. So that is a identity and access management. IMA, that is a identity access management. Which service I can take here? That is a Azure Activity Directory I can take here. So how can I do the configuration for this? The company uses Azure AD to manage the user identities and ensure secure access to the application. And not only that, when you take the multi operations, so that is a multi-factor authentication. That is a MFA we call it as. That is a multi-factors authentication. Is enforces for the all employees. Add the additional layers of the protection to the user account. Not only that, encrypt, encryption encryption of the data. So which service I can take here? So we can take the Azure Storage Service encryption or the Azure Data encryption. So how can I do the configuration for this? So customer data is stored in Azure Block Storage is encrypted at the rest of using Azure Storage and the service encryption, that is SSE we call it as, for the ensure confidential. And not only that, when you take the networking security, there's a very very important thing. So there is a networking security. We can take the service of Azure Firewall and the network security groups. And how can I do the configuration for this? So the company configuration Azure Firewall to protect the application from the external threats and prevent the unauthorized access to the sensitive data. So there's exploring the key concepts of cloud. And when you go to the discuss of the economics of scales, so economic scale provides can reduce the cost and gain efficiency when operating at a larger scale. So think that when you are going to invest in hardwares, I believe that there are two types of services. So there is the two types of services that they are the buy or the service. In this world, service or the product. If you buy a product, you will be the completely owner. You decide what you want it to do. It. You can take it put in dustbin. You will use it or responsible service is not like that. You buy a service that is a contract driven. The rules and regulations to use the service. Now everything is moving to the product to the service. In many countries, washing machine is a service, but for in India, it is a product. It is very very important hardware. But when you go to the other countries, that is USA or the Europe or Switzerland or Netherlands, any countries if you go, so there will be one flat. For whole the flat, there will be one washing machine. They will take the services and they will pay. Same the cloud, same the cloud computing. So if you want to work on the Microsoft Azure cloud, how much time you're going to be work on the cloud? For that time, you are paying the certain amount. After your work, you will get back, and there will be a stop work, and for that you are paying to the some money. So the hardware where organizations purchase, it would be a laptop, let it be the desktop or anything. All of them we have the predefined lifetime. That may be think that okay, if I buy the laptop, it may be the how much time life service. It may be the 7 to 8 years. That's it. After that, I have to reinvest on the hardware system. After all may be destroyed. So after the 7 years, my laptop may be destroyed, or the desktop may be destroyed, or the hardware, or the pen drive, or anything. It has some lifetime. After that, it will go into destroy, and your data would be lost. Don't worry about the OS. When you talk about the OS, so when you enter into the cloud computing, that is the Azure portal. After entering into the Azure cloud, there will be a many OS operating systems. You can work on there. You just change the configurations. So you just change the configuration. So moving to the cloud computing is very best. Some will maintain the cloud. You just work it and done. You work it and done. So we talked about before itself. There is a three major cloud. That is one is Microsoft Azure, and Amazon, that is AWS, and Google, that is a GCP, Google Cloud. So they will provide a many services. Just you will go and you will work how much you, if you want to work in that cloud, you will work, and after that you will get back, and you will pay some pay as you go rule. Every cloud they will keep one rule. That is every cloud same pay as you go module only. It will be based on their conditions, based on the their project. They will work on the cloud. I think that there will be one client. So think that there will be one client. So based on that client project, if you are want to work on the Microsoft Azure or the Amazon AWS or the GCP, if you want to work on multi clouds based on the client or the project. So when you go to the capital expenditure or the operational expenditure, and what is this, and what is meant by the capital expenditure, this is very important. And what is the capital expenditure or the operational expenditure, that is very important topic here. So what is meant by capital expenditure or the operation expenditure? So capital expenditure is nothing but that refers to expense occurred at the upgrade or the maintaining of the physical assets like the building or the machinery or the equipment. These are the long-term investment that typically provide the benefits over the multi years. So what are the maybe the examples of capital expenditure? Buying the services or the networking equipment, or the constructing a new office building, or the purchasing the manufacturing machinery, upgrading on-premises data centers. And what is meant by operational expenditure? Operational expenditure, the day-to-day expense required to operate a business. These are the short-term expenses that are fully expensed in a financial years, and pay as you go rule, regularly recurring the cost spread over time. And what are all the maybe the examples of the operational expenditure? Employee salary and the benefits, and renting the cloud services like a Microsoft Azure or the AWS, maintaining the equipment or the software subscription. And this and all the capital expenditures. And when you go to the so maybe the difference we'll study now. So what it maybe it would be. So cloud computing help us to move away from the capital expenditure to the operational expenditure. That means you don't want to have an upfront cost. Think that you may surely hiring some developers or maybe administration to manage your cloud, but you don't want a huge amount for the maintenance of the data centers. It will help you to move the capital expenditure to the operational expenditure, which can trip you don't want to move the basically it refers to pay as you go model. Consumption based model. Consumption based model pay only for the resources used. If you want to test your application, you will create a temporary virtual machine. If your testing is completed, you just shut down that, no more continue them. Just you are paying up to the work you done. After that, you are not going to pay a certain amount. That you are not going to pay a certain amount. That why every organization is going to transfer on prime to the cloud computing. So that is the beauty of the cloud computing. So think that, so you're going to be creating one virtual mission. So to testing the some applications, think that you're working on the one organization, that is you're working on the Microsoft or the Amazon or Tata Consulting Services or the Accenture or anything, any company you're working. So there or the DXC or the Infosys, any company if you're working. So if you want to test one application, so you will create one temporary virtual mission for the purpose of testing of your application. After your application is tested, you will just come back to the out of from the cloud. From starting time to ending time, how much you use it the cloud, that much you're going to pay the cloud. And whole services is provided by the cloud itself. So this is the very important for using of the cloud.